I'm Taylor Barr, your midnight DJ.
That was Rosalie Come and Go by Ryan Adams. I'm Taylor Barr, your midnight DJ. And there was a group of protesters on campus today. Or at least, I think they were protesting. They had huge cutouts of the moon with big skull and crossbones on them, and they waved these signs that read things like, "The moon is a snake," and 100% of people who look at the moon die. And, "Moon? More like poison!" I approached the crowd and asked them what this was all about. They looked at me like I was some sort of fool, and they laughed. One of them turned around their sign to reveal 3 ha's, each underlined and within quotes. Ha, ha, ha. I blushed. They explained that the moon is full of poison and has been releasing noxious fumes into our planet slowly but surely. I pointed out to them that the moon is pretty far away, and that for any material to travel that far from the moon to the Earth would require tons of energy. They laughed again and replied, "Have you heard about the snakes, though?" No, I hadn't heard about the snakes. I told them there's no snakes on the moon, and I think that was the last straw because they started throwing rocks at me. Up next, Mariposa by Peachtree Rascals, and after that, Learn to Fly by the Foo Fighters. That was Africa by Weezer. I'm Taylor Barr, your midnight DJ. And Isabella was a bright, industrious woman. She had degrees and awards, worked hard, had a good attitude, and still she couldn't find a job. Alright, she could find a job, but she was holding out for a position that felt right to her, and fry cook just wasn't in her plans, though she fully respected everyone working in the service industry, unless they were rude to her, in which case she would only tip 15%. Isabella had her morals. They weren't the same as everyone else's, but they weren't too different either. She would never be arrested for her actions directly, though she might be tied to an insurrection at some point in her future, depending on how all the politics of her country developed in the next few decades. She wasn't thinking about a coup d'etat at the moment, though. She was trying to get a job, a position so that she could both have authority and also make some money. As much as she hated living in a world where your worth was determined by how much of your labor you could sell at a markup, she did love the idea of being rich, and she would do a few of the things in her power to reach that goal. Up next, Everything You Wanted by Vertical Horizon, and after that, Red Light by Johnny Lang. That was Plastic Beach by Future Islands. I'm Taylor Barr, your midnight DJ. And she was the type to insult her friends. Small jabs at the only people that she trusted. Short quips that cut deep because she knew them so well. It ate away at their tolerance. Her friends started to snap back. They would become aggravated to the point of retaliation. Finally, after all these years, they stood up to her. They stacked her from all sides, only verbally though. They were, in fact, still her friends. They called her names like Stinky and Uggos Mackenzie and Downtown Wanderer, Dusklit and Broken. And she just couldn't take it. She was a glass cannon, a creature that has ridiculous power to hurt something else. She was fantastic at hurting people's feelings, but she could not take it. The problem with a glass cannon is that once it's fired, it's also shattered. Sure, you might be powerful, but at what cost? Is it worth it to destroy something else or someone else if it also means that you would be destroyed in the process? Most would say not. She might say otherwise. Though, let's be honest, she wouldn't. Because she can dish it out all day, sure, but she knows she can't take it. Up next, Don't Know Why by Norah Jones, and after that, The Adults Are Talking by The Strokes. You just heard Is This Love by Cake. I'm Taylor Barr, your midnight DJ, and music is hard to make. Have you ever tried to do it? Let's start with the basics. Singing is hard. Most people can't carry a tune for the life of them. I'm alright, nothing crazy, though I'm really more of a rapper. Or I guess not rap, so much as spoken word. Yeah. Singing is crazy. Just vibrating your throat at the right tightness to create a new sound. Instruments, don't even get me started. I'm kidding. I'm already started. Learning a new instrument is like learning a new language. There's a new alphabet you need to learn as well as the meanings and sounds of different actions. It's impressive. And then you have chords and harmonics and so much more that when you start getting down into the nitty gritty of making music, you find something familiar. Math. Sound is just waves. Waves are energy, and energy is math, and math has equations. It might be hard to write music, so try equating it. Write fantastic equations to solve music. Find what really hits home to those people listening. Resonate with them. Vibe with them on the same frequency. Be with them. You can figure out which frequency exactly with math. Up next, First Time by Bakar. And after that, Angel of Harlem by U2. That was Kyoto by Phoebe Bridgers. I'm Taylor Barr, your Midnight DJ, and a group of deer wander through an abandoned zone. The walls that once separated the city from the rest of the world are high, hundreds of feet tall and dozens thick. The deer poke around a dilapidated building, a short, flat-roofed little concrete structure, what used to be a sandwich shop. The deer tries to maneuver around the chairs and tables, but comes up short when trying to pass by the counter. The deer moves on. The building stayed. The deer continued on its journey through the limited space. It walked on the widest road in the zone, a huge 8-lane highway divided in the middle with a row of trees. Those were certainly not there when the humans were. The deer stayed in the median for weeks. This was a little oasis in the worn-down city of timeless waste and concrete. A place for animals to congregate. A place for animals to thrive. A place for predators to stalk. The deer noticed a flicker in its vision. Something on the wall. It was small from where the deer stood, but who's to say that a deer understands the depth it perceives? The deer went back to eating plants, like deer do. Up next, Charming Mess by the Black Crows, and after that, Last Kiss by Pearl Jam, but before I let you go. It's just about midnight, and you know what that means, my dear listeners, my dear, dear listeners. I would do anything for you, except work past midnight, so I must let you go. But don't worry, I'll be back I'll be back next week. Don't worry. Today was pretty good. Tomorrow will be even better.